Andrea Sargent, how is the story of your painter arts?
Oh. Okay, so I spent 10 years studying watercolor in Milan in the academy, and it seemed such an incredible challenge that I think maybe now after 9 years I'm beginning to understand something. And always been really passionate about working with nature and plein air and working from live subjects, not photos. And we put together a group here in this exhibition called Anima Mundi Pax, which is basically the opposite from everything which is happening. Instead of reflecting all the horrors and violence and terrible things in the world, we decided to do something which would bring peace and sort of serenity to people. So we've really based everything on nature and trees and peace, basically, trying to calm people.
And what do you mean with your color, your paint, your work?
Well, as I said, we're trying to let people come in and feel calm and peaceful and understand the beauties of nature. I'm a great fan of John Ruskin, who said that basically nature is art. It's already there. We just need to get in it and get connected and then paint. So, in fact, nearly everything in here is done from plein air, done from life. Right.
Why you have this exposition in Lucca?
Well, I did 72 pages of application to get the space. And we were supposed to be showing in the botanical gardens in the greenhouses. But unfortunately in November it was closed, so they said we have this Casermetta on the walls of Lucca. So we said, okay, fine, it's just it was a lot larger than I expected. Anyway, so...
And you go near your paint and explain the sense of this work.
Okay, so this is
the first?
This is a trittico here, these three.
Come near the first.
Yes, okay, well it's actually all three together. This is the flower of love, it's an agapanto, and this is another very symbolic flower, sort of tried to get a poetic feeling. I was in a romantic phase, and everything sort of had, I wanted this dark background and the fog and everything to be a bit mystic. So.
Come near.
Yes.
Explain what you have liked to do.
Well, I was very influenced by Japanese art, so I like the idea that you left the empty spaces. And of course, with watercolor, you don't have white paint, so you only have, you have to work sort of positive, negative, basically. And they're quite large for watercolor, so. Yeah. And this is the third one.
What is the name of this work?
Well, it's a Trittico Botanic, because it's three. Yeah. I can't remember the name of that plant. What's it called?
And the next?
Yes, this is a lily. The red is called, but it's actually agapanto. That one, I think. And this one is a hortensia in the mist.
In which year have you painted?
This is 2018, so these are very early works.
What is the name of these techniques?
It's just watercolor. It's well, my version of botanical watercolor, but it's much more free.
Why you have used this little blue?
Well, it's actually a dark green for the shadow because it was painted from life, so it was in actually a vase. So at the bottom it was very dark underneath to get some depth. So.
It's an interesting style, isn't it?
Okay, so then we got to this great snowfall in Maremma, where I live, near Marina di Bibona. We had an incredible snowy winter. Not sure which date it was, but I went out and painted in the snow. So got here the olive tree, the pine tree, and this was Lake Santa Luce. This was 2020. And this won the Dante Alighieri Prize in Rome, yeah.
Which is the painter that you love more?
John Ruskin. Yeah. This is the COVID period, okay. So I didn't have any watercolor paper and Amazon wasn't delivering, so I used wrapping paper from the butchers. You know, this is actually wrapping paper, which is mounted on wood, and then I use watercolors on top of the wrapping paper.
We begin to the first.
Yes, well, this is also a tritic.
What is this?
This is 3 pines that all put together. It's in the Marina di Bibona, and it was sort of autumn period. And I like the idea of the tritico, you know, the 3 pieces together. So this is actually one painting in 3. This won the Sgarbi Prize. I was in the finals of the Vittorio Sgarbi.
Vittorio.
Yes. This, some people say they can feel the strange, the melancholy, but other people find them very romantic. But as it was COVID, it was a strange period, so we were living in a bit of a traumatic state. You never really knew we were going to be here. So some people say they can sense the feeling in it, but this is also Marina di Bibona. This one is Punta Ala, because you have the sea behind.
Explain about this.
Well, this one is a bit melancholy, I think. It's a kind of all the roots, because I do a lot of trekking in Tuscany, in Maremma. And we found this lake, and it was exactly like this. It's almost with the white and the fog and the strange shadows and all these crazy roots coming. And I found it quite inspiring, the idea of the... This one is Puntala, this one.
Why you have chosen this place?
Pines, because they're near where I live. They're near where I live, so I would just go out with my easel and do hundreds of sketches on packing paper. So. And I was always fascinated by these trees because they have this strange movements. Everything seems to be quite, twisted and emotive looking. I don't know, I find them really interesting, these trees, the pini marittimi. Also, they're typical of our area, so. And this one is Baratti, Golfo di Baratti.
You like this tree?
Yeah, I love pine trees, yeah, Marittimo. I think they're very...
But they are always melancholy.
A bit, yeah, a little bit. This
Yeah.
was a trip to Siena. Oops, and it was incredible. There was this incredible orange, the Croce of Siena and the fields with... And there were the vineyards had snow and fog, and it was really romantic, I thought.
You like book, Lynn?
Yeah, interesting, yes. Yeah, a lot of people, my son's always saying, oh, you're like...
The Eyes of the Dead.
Yeah. These are all the vineyards in the snow, which I find really fascinating, the white. Because with watercolor, you have to use white, and it's a very Japanese concept to leave space around your objects. So, yeah. And then we came to Lucca. Here we are in Lucca.
These are yours.
Yes, this is the next phase. We came to the Botanic Gardens in Lucca, and I went there, and these crazy water lilies were coming out. And so I did another trittico, as you see, I like doing things in threes. This, I think these are more mystic than melancholy, I would say. They're quite... And then there's some more water lilies here. This is the same story, it's the same phase. And this was the first examples I did, which is also a trittic. These three go together. And then I decorated a villa in Castiglioncello, which is Liberty, and they did I've done enormous ones all over their bedrooms. Yeah. Hang on a sec. And this is the last phase. It was the same pine forest, but this was at twilight with the crepuscolare light. Which I used for the invite for here. And it actually was like this. It had this crazy turquoise, emerald colours coming out. It seemed like it was full of spirits. It was really wonderful. So. C'è mio figlio che vuole entrare, Stefano.
This is the last.
Yes, these were probably the last pieces I did. Oh no, these, sorry. This was a happy moment of very Japanese influenced flowers, and I thought maybe I've done a bit too much blue, and let's get some colours. And this was my latest. I actually did it without drawing, because obviously I had most of them are drawn in pencil, but quite meticulously. And this one, I thought, I did a course online with some lady who said, no pencils, just throw the colours on, get the emotion. It's like an emotive way of painting, which I probably will continue in this direction with these sort of even more abstract, probably eventually arrive at abstract, hopefully, because it's a long way to go, but yeah, so.
Now,
Yes.
we go near these.
Yes. Yes?
And you narrow me your life.
My life?
Yes. Where you was born, when.
Oh, gosh.
Life,
Oh, okay. Well, the date, I don't know.
which are your experience in life,
Ah, okay.
and how this experience have given you the idea to do the painter.
Oh, gosh.
Huh?
Okay.
Put here.
Here? Okay.
Near this.
Okay.
This. Look
Okay.
me.
Yes? Okay.
Yes. When, where you was born? Which
so-
is your life, Andrea?
Ah, okay. I was born in England, in the Midlands, in 1959. And I went to art school, and as a child I won all the art badges, even in the elementary schools. And then I went on to do a foundation. And then I went to St. Martin's, which is a very famous fashion college, and did actually a degree in fashion and textiles. And after that, I had my own label, a fashion label, that sold all over the world. It was quite famous, and we got an award from Mrs. Thatcher for the best exports. But then I met my husband, and I had my kids, and it was definitely not compatible with fashion, because fashion is sort of, it's a crazy world full of, I mean, there's definitely a reason why most people are gay in fashion, because it is not family compatible. I mean, I was Frankfurt, New York, Paris, you know, Premier Vision, going all over the world. And at a certain point, my husband said, look, you're going to have to choose here, either the family, me, or your fashion. So I had these two crazy boys running all over the place. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll start just working, just painting, doing something. Why do I have to, you know, do fashion design? And actually, I always wanted to paint, but it wasn't really considered. I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to make be able to live off this, basically. So I went into fashion, where I made quite a, you know, good mark. And so my husband said, go back to the beginning, go and paint. So I went to the academy in Milan, where I had this fantastic tutor called Ettore Maiotti, who taught me everything. But when we got to the first year, the end of it, he said, okay, now we're going to try watercolor. And I was just completely seduced by all this freedom and the sort of improbability, and you never knew what was going to happen, you know, and paint dripping down the... And I found it so fascinating. And, well, it took like 5 to 9 years. I've been doing watercolor now. I think I'm just slowly beginning to understand something after 9 years. The Comune of Lucca is now, people got to contact with me. I have a lot of addresses. People want me to do watercolor courses here in Lucca. I've already got about 12 people interested. I've never taught before, but I'm going to have to start learning, I think. It seems that people are all quite fascinated now by watercolors, and that'll probably be the next thing I do. So I should perhaps give something back, you know. Yeah.
How many sons you have had as
I've got
the mother?
3 boys. Yeah. And one is, he sings, he's a songwriter. He's just arrived this minute. And the second one is doing the Academy of Lucca film course. And he's a video maker, and he does editing and post-production and works on documentaries. So they all got the creative streak. And the third one was more like, actually he's also creative, but he ended up following my husband. He's in finance doing environmental ESG and project where sort of alternative energy in Hamburg, which he hates, but never mind.
And what do you hope for them?
Well, I just hope that they're happy. They do what they're good at, because it's very difficult nowadays. I wouldn't like to be young in this moment, because in my period I came out of St. Martin's. I had 9 different job offers in Australia, New York, London, Florence. I didn't know which to choose. Whereas my sons, there's so much more competition, because we have China, we have the whole world, you know, it's become much more global.
Your husband, what he think about your work?
Well, he's always encouraging me, because when I'm painting, I'm nice and calm and quiet, and he's a writer. He's writing books on a biography on a philosopher, and he's just publishing now his second book or third book, and he's very happy. We stay in the middle of Maremma, in our big house where he writes and I paint, so it's all very pleasant.
He is a writer.
Now he's a writer, yeah, he's decided. Before he was in finance and...
You have choose Italy for love, for your husband, or for some destiny?
Well, I came to Italy as a student, and I was always quite fascinated. I loved Napoli. I think I lost my heart in Napoli. And I was doing these horrible rag dresses from Positano. I used to go down there as an excuse, because they'd pay for me to go over, and I toured all over Italy designing fashion design. And then I was working in textiles in Prato, and I invented these fabrics, this sort of crepe fabric, which I took over to England and actually made my fashion label Ghost, it's called. And it became a worldwide success, this label. But as I said, after a while, it wasn't compatible with family, so, yeah.
In your think, which is the difference between modern artist, English and Italian? Which is the difference?
In modern art?
Yes. Contemporary.
Oh, contemporary, okay. I don't really know, because I've been so long in Italy, I don't really know what's going on over there. So I love Italy. I think you've got everything. You've got your lakes, your mountains, you've got lifestyle, good food, good weather. So I don't hardly ever go back to England, actually. And all my family love coming to Italy, so they all come to us. And
you have had many expositions in England?
I had just one in London in September, which was interesting. 5 artists. And I did the 3 last paintings there with the twilight were in the Biennale of Portugal, which was March. That was the last one I did before. And now these 2, because I had, well, before this we had an exhibition in the Santa Caterina, which is a consecrated church, which is quite amazing. And now I have to see what I'm going to do about this teaching, see how it goes. And
have you had an exhibition in the States?
No, not yet, no.
Never.
No, I've shown in the Vatican, in Budapest, Paris, where else? Yeah, I think the Vatican one was interesting, in this Galleria del Pigna. That's a really great place in Rome. And I've got 3 galleries interested now for Florence, so maybe that'll be the next place.
You like to stay in Italy or England, where you was born?
No, I love Italy. I never go back to England. Yeah. We've got everything here. You don't need to go back to England. So.
But it's possible that in England you have more market to sell.
Well, at the moment, after this Brexit, England was so depressed. We went over there. It seemed everyone was miserable. I mean, it seems much more positive actually here in Italy. Because, I mean, I was in London and all my friends are all against Brexit, but they were all sort of traumatized. They're all thinking of leaving, and there's a lot of people are leaving, actually, moving anywhere, because this Brexit thing has just made everything so complicated and uncertain, you know, not being part of a group as well. I mean,
Peter, as you, which are the artists in the art story of Italy? You which
probably
painter you like?
Boldini. Boldini. You know.
Boldini?
Yes, with the because he's a bit like Singer and the Sargent with the paintings in there. And obviously Futurist was interesting. It was a very interesting period. But watercolor. I don't think there's that many really big watercolorists. I actually love the Macchioli period. I followed all that. I go to all the exhibitions. I like the idea of the nature. But,
you prefer more the modern artists than the ancient?
no, well, I'm interested in everything really. So I go to all the exhibitions, anything go and see. So from
there is one Italian artist that your painter is near.
Don't think so. No. No. Do you think something's? What would you say? I don't think it's very English. I think this watercolor. No, it's a very English tradition. Turner, yeah. Oh, wow, fantastic! That would be my dream. Yeah, I must say I'm very influenced by Turner. Yeah, I love his atmosphere and things. Yeah.
The last time that he was in England?
Well, September for the exhibition in London, Primrose Hill. Yeah. That was the last time.
Which school have you attended?
I went to St Martin's School. It's a very famous fashion school in London. Yeah.
And the last.
Well, I did a BA and an MA there, so I did like 5 or 6 years.
About the Brexit?
Not terrible, disaster. I almost refused to go back. We had an apartment, we sold everything in England. I refused to be part of it. I just find it total ignorance and scandal. I mean, it's crazy.
We come back to the art. What do you think about the future of the art? How became in the future?
Well, I think it's become so totally crazy now that all the recent exhibitions, and every time I go to an exhibition, I come out like, because everything seems to be so violent and aggressive and shocking, and I just thought, I don't know. I mean, it's going to get nobody knows how to shock people anymore. They're just continuing doing more like Catalan and all these really terrible. I don't know. I can't understand it at all. I understand they're trying to be part of what's happening now, but I would rather go against it and give people a bit of peace and serenity here, because I think when you go and see an art exhibition, you come out even more traumatized. And we have the newspapers, online, TV, everything is just so depressing and sad and violent, and you don't know what to think, really. So I think at that point, you could probably turn back to nature. You know, this is my idea, like Ruskin said, you know, just immerse yourself in nature and try and connect with the planet, you know, also with all this terrible smog and the problems with climate change. You know, we've really made a terrible mess, I think. So I think it's time we went back to respecting the planet and really appreciating the beauty of everything around us, you know. So that would be my message, you know, anima mundi pax, give us peace, let's get connected to the planet. So.
How do you think shall be the world in the next cycle?
I don't know. Who knows? It's a total mystery. Hopefully, I think it probably gets so technological and so crazy that there's going to be some solar flare and we'll all end up going back to sending letters and living, totally untechnological lives. Who knows? I think it will just implode, all this AI and everything.
So we became all citizens of Marte.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but certainly a very strange world we're in at the moment. Yeah.
But on the moon, yes.
I don't know. I leave that to Elon Musk and all the other crazies to send people up there and see what's going on. But no, I think anyway, one thing has been 5 different annihilation of the planet has had these 5, but the planet always survived, luckily.
And
the first the dinosaurs, then we had all these 5 other terrible things with meteorites, but the planet somehow survived. So I think. I don't know whether we will, but the planet will be okay. Sure.
You think that in the future the artists have more problem, the life more difficult or more easy?
Artists. Well, if they have to live off it, it's going to be very difficult because it seems like everybody's an artist now, which in a way is great, but before, once you needed to do at least 5 or 6 years of technical drawing. I mean, Picasso, you saw his early works were just immaculate, perfect, And now everybody's, I'm an abstract, I paint. So it's a lot of people out there, which is good, I suppose. But,
and you haven't afraid by AI?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's going to be probably so exaggerated that everybody's just going to go back to how we used to be, because it would be like an implosion. It's going to get so crazy with this AI and what's real, what's fake. It's going to be so complicated. It's getting more and more complicated, everything. Just switching on the television, I don't know, 3 different telecommander. So maybe everybody will just get so sick of it, they go, okay, that's it, let's go back. Let's not send emails, let's take a letter and put it through the door, and like we used to.
And what do you think about art made by
AI? Yeah, it's pretty amazing, I must say. It's a bit scary, very scary.
It's very problem.
Yeah. But, I mean, what can we do? It's pretty amazing stuff, yeah.
And now tell me the last you're thinking about your work.
Well, I'm thinking of really trying to make a new art movement. So I'm quite ambitious. I've actually been thinking about it for about 15 years, where I get people like-minded artists together and we really try and do something which is going to make people feel peaceful, I don't know, give them a bit of serenity, because it seems to be total chaos all the time. So, yeah.
Many thanks.
Thank you, Sergeant, yes.
ANDREA Sargent.
Yes, thank you.
Many thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.